Have you ever finished writing a song and then thought to yourself, or worse, did you think to yourself, I hate this. I don't even like this song. But then not really know what it is that went wrong or not really be able to diagnose what is it that I listen to all these other songs and I think, wow, that's awesome. And then I listen to my own song and I'm like, what a piece of garbage that was. So we're going to talk about 3 different reasons that your song might suck. The first reason that your song or my song might suck is that we had nothing new to say. Now, I want to be really clear on this. There is some element of there's nothing new under the sun. If you are really talking about a subject matter that has never been talked about in any song before, then probably there's a reason that it's never been talked about. If you're talking about how sad you are that you burnt your toast this morning, the reason nobody's written a song about that, I hope or think, is because nobody cares, right? That's not a universal human experience that people want to listen to a song about. So there's a reason that like 98% of songs revolve around something like love or loss of love or certain elements in life such as death, talking about the tragedy of how short life is. There's a reason that there's recurring themes in songs because there are some things that are just very important in the human condition and something that we all can relate to. But really what it is that I think we need to do is we need to actually drill deeper because while our general subject matter probably isn't going to be different than anybody else has ever talked about and probably shouldn't be, how we can end up saying something different than what everybody else has said is by diving deeper and getting more precise about our subject. So for example, there's a million, billion, trillion songs that are about a breakup, but a lot of the breakup songs that just feel overdone and lame and just like it's been said before are the ones that keep it really generic usually. They just sort of are just like, oh, you left me and I'm angry, or you left me and I'm sad, and that's sort of just it. But one of the great ways that we can actually dive deeper and really make it a more compelling, interesting song is to get more precise about what point in the breakup we're talking about. Because the idea that a breakup is just you left me and I'm sad or I'm angry is just not really true, right? Like there's a lot of different stages within a breakup. So maybe writing a song about 10 years later where you don't regret the relationship that you had and you're not necessarily glad that it ended, but you also don't have any bitterness towards the person at all. So you're just saying, you know what? I'm glad that happened. You were worth a shot, but hey, it didn't work out and that's okay too. That would be a different, more fresh take on a breakup song, right? Because that's not said as much. And usually in a breakup song, the villain of the song is the person that broke up with you, right? Like usually it's that person, or maybe it's yourself if you broke up with them. But maybe change it up. Make it so that the villain of your breakup song is somebody different. Make it that it's the friend of the person that encouraged them to break up with you. And another way to change it up is to utilize a symbol that maybe hasn't been used before in this context, because usually symbolism is a great way to make things fresh, where we're not just talking about a breakup with no symbols to lean back on, but you actually pick something like, for example, a ship going on a journey, a shipwreck, whatever it is, something that helps get more precise about what we're talking about and adds some imagery and really makes it so that our song can shine and really have a life of its own beyond just you broke up with me and I'm sad or I'm mad, which is going to end up being forgettable. So get more precise about it and don't just say the same stuff that everybody else has said before. The next reason that our songs might suck, and this is one of my favorites to talk about because I really see this a lot, especially with new songwriters. One of the biggest signs of a new songwriter, to me anyway, is when you see super forced, cringy rhymes. So that basically every line of their song has perfect rhyme. So they're talking about light and night and stuff like that. Don't do that. First, let's just establish as a ground rule or lack of rule, your lyrics do not need to rhyme. I feel like there's this idea out there that lyrics must rhyme. Lyrics don't need to rhyme at all, much less have perfect rhyme, which if you don't know, perfect rhyme just means that the end of the word, both the consonant sounds and the vowel sounds rhyme. So like light and night, they both are t at the end. That's the consonant sound. And then also the vowel sound is I. Right? So both of those match exactly. So that's a perfect rhyme. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with perfect rhymes for sure. In fact, if you're intentional about when to use perfect rhymes, they're super effective. But what you don't want to do is force your lyrics to conform to a rhyme scheme, especially if you're really sacrificing saying what you want to say and you're just sort of throwing in rhymes just because you feel like your song needs to rhyme. Your song doesn't need to rhyme. It's better for you to say exactly what you want to say and be precise about what it is you're trying to say than it is to rhyme. Because you may think that rhyming's important, but honestly, can you even tell me that you know your top 5 favorite songs rhyme, or do you have to think about it? In fact, if you actually look at your 5 favorite songs, you may be surprised and learn that 1, 2, 3 of them might have sections of the song that either don't rhyme at all, or certainly don't have perfect rhymes. And maybe that's not the case as well, but for most of us, we don't even realize when songs rhyme or don't, and while rhyming can be a very powerful songwriting tool, we should never utilize the tool of rhyming in a way that it actually gets in the way of our lyrics saying what they need to say. And basically everyone can tell when you forced a rhyme, because the words you use, you can just tell were tailored towards, I have to rhyme, rather than the words feeling natural and feeling like they are exactly what you intended to say. People can hear that, people can tell, so don't force a rhyme. Again, it's okay to rhyme. Rhyming is good. It's a good songwriting tool. Just don't overutilize it. Don't commit to only perfect rhymes. You don't need to have perfect rhymes, and certainly don't need to have perfect rhymes all the time in every song section you ever write. And at the end of the day, really just don't force it. And a third reason that your song might suck is that you tried to force the song to be something it isn't. When you write a song, your main goal should be to write the song in a way that best serves the song itself. Don't write the song with the idea, for example, that I'm a rock guy, so I need to write a rock song. No. What does the song require? What does the song demand? If the song needs to be something that's at a slow tempo and has a really sparse arrangement and uses just acoustic instruments, then that's what it needs to be. That's what you should write. If it does lend itself towards being a harder rock song, then do that. If it lends itself to having sort of a country laid-back vibe and sort of an old-school folk country sound, then do that. Whatever it is your song demands, make sure that you follow what the song needs to be, rather than dictating that the song needs to fit into a certain box. Don't tell yourself it's me writing it, so I need to write it in a certain way. No, ask yourself what it is the song needs to be. Just like as artists, whenever we're trying to be something we're not, it usually comes off weird and sometimes cringy, and then sometimes people can tell, right? We all may know a band or two that we really like the current rendition of the band, but they used to have a very different sound before they were popular, and that sound really was something where it's ooh, you were trying to be something that you're not, because once you changed your sound and it was something that perfectly fit your skill set, everything was great. But before that, I could tell you were trying to be a certain sound and it just didn't work. Maybe it's a certain vocalist that really fit with sort of a pop music vibe, but before they were trying to be a rock band and it just didn't work. So just like as an artist, you need to be true to yourself as an artist. You need to make sure that each of the songs you write are true to themselves, as well as being true to you. But it's more important to make sure that you are servicing the song and making sure that the song becomes what it should become, what it's meant to become, that you are writing the song in service to the song rather than forcing the song in a certain direction based on your preferences. So I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, be sure to check out my free guide on 10 different ways to start writing a song, because it gives you 5 ways from a lyrical standpoint and 5 ways from a musical standpoint to get started on writing a song. Right now, it will help you to get started. It will also help you get out of a funk if you are stuck in a weird funk where you're just sort of creatively dry and you're I just feel like everything I'm writing starts to sound the same, because starting songs from different standpoints is one of the best ways to stay fresh creatively. If you always just sit at a piano and try writing a song with the same methodology every single time, that is usually how you end up either getting songs that all sound the same or going creatively dry. But if you change it up and start your song from different standpoints, whether you're starting a song with a different instrument or a different instrument part that you're writing, say starting with a bass line instead of starting with a guitar chord progression or something like that, that is a great way to stay fresh creatively and keep it really fun and keep your creativity just going and going, so that you never really run out of quote unquote creative juice, if you will. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check that out. Link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll talk to you in the next one.